This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time! Presenting the champion of the world, Phil Wham Bam Benamino!
Yo, what's up, everybody out there? Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Wham Bam's podcast, the show about regular people who have done extraordinary things and are all self-made. I'm Phil Benamino, a.k.a. Wham Bam Benamino, and if the odds have been against you like they've been my whole life, and you're not sure if you can survive, well, guess what? I'm living proof that you can. So turn up the volume and listen in, because today we got a special guest from Georgia, going from Georgia to Georgia Tech, D1, Qb1 Taquon Marshall's in the house. Taekwon, we're glad to see you here today. Thanks for coming on by.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always exciting being around, chop it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, man, we're looking forward. Well, first, some quick facts about Taekwon, who I'm going to call Q. So if you're wondering who Q is, that's my boy, Taekwon Marshall. Born from Columbus, Georgia, he lettered in both football, track, and baseball from Harris County. Grew up in his hometown of Hamilton, Georgia. He passed for 1,376 yards, 18 touchdowns, and most impressively, he rushed for 1,436 yards and 12 touchdowns as a senior in high school. Is that correct, D?
That's right.
Oh, my God, Q, that's unbelievable. He was named first-team Class 5A All-State, named Albury City Offensive Player of the Year, named first-team All-Region, two-time recipient of the Ironman Award, named first-team All-City. And, of course, he also performed in track. Did you really run 100 meters in 10.8 seconds?
Yeah.
Come on, man. For real?
I had some speed.
You had some speed. You had some speed. I like it. Moving on from high school, going into college as a freshman, he played as an A-back. Is that true? At Georgia Tech.
A-back.
So you're an A-back. You weren't even a quarterback then. So you played quarterback in high school, though.
Yeah.
Awesome. So by your junior year, it looks like you're starting quarterback. You set a school record for rushing yards by a quarterback with 1,146 in just 11 games, which actually is good for 12th overall in single season school history. So you're on the leaderboard there, man. Yeah. You can't take that away.
In the record books.
You're in the record books, man. Rushed for 17 touchdowns, which was third most ever by a Georgia Tech quarterback. So, you know what? You've done some really good things. Senior year, it seems like you had over 1,871 total yards as a senior. You ranked 5th in ACC and 49th nationally with over 11 rushing touchdowns. So, I can just sit here and talk all in all about these stats, man. We got a hero here, man. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm glad this weather's starting to clear up a little bit so we can stay outside a little bit more.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, let's talk real quick. Number one, what was your first love? I mean, obviously you're an athlete, man. You played football, you played baseball, you played track, you ran track and stuff in school. What was your first love?
It was baseball, believe it or not, man. I love baseball. I remember being in middle school telling my dad I didn't want to play football anymore, and I was going to continue playing baseball. I mean, I played baseball year round.
What position?
I was playing, growing up, I played a little third base and I played catcher. Okay. But then as I got older, since I was a little bit faster and could cover ground, I started playing center.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But I enjoyed it, man. It was fun. I didn't stop playing baseball until 9th grade year in high school. Mm-hmm. And then that's when, you got to really try to decide what you're going to do, what you can see yourself playing in college. Now, not that I couldn't see myself playing baseball in college, but football is one of those things where my boys around me were playing football. One of my good friends was top 50 in the country, 4-star DN coming out of high school. So he was getting a lot of traction. So he kind of showed me the ropes, was taking me on visits with him. And then that's when I realized, like, okay, this is something I think I could do. So I kind of left the baseball side alone and just focused on football.
Right. How'd you hit the ball?
I wasn't a power hitter. I was more of a put the ball on the ground, beat it out, or put the ball in the gaps. And
that's all it takes, man.
Yeah,
all you got to do is get on base 3 out of 10 times, man. 3 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. I was a big
power guy. Now, when I was younger, when I was bigger than everyone, I was hitting 19, 20 home runs in the season. But as I got older, it was more putting the ball in the gap, putting the ball on the ground. So
That's great. That's great. Now, going on from baseball being your first love, obviously you have all the success in football in the world in high school. Now, what were you considered? I mean, I know today they do a lot of different things with these kids and stuff growing up and trying to get these stars, right?
Right.
Whether they're 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
Right.
Everybody wants to be that 5-star.
You know it.
But by the looks of your stats, you were like a 7-star, man.
Nah, I was only a 3-star coming out of high school.
Yeah.
I was only a 3-star. I was a smaller guy. I was about 5'9", 5'10", $167. So I really didn't weigh that much. Like I was skin and bone.
That's why you ran so fast. You run away from the big boys.
That's exactly why. I didn't want to get hit, so I had to make sure I was fast enough to get away from everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. So listen, transitioning into Georgia Tech, like what was that like? I mean, number one, D1, obviously great school. But being in your hometown, kind of, I know Atlanta's not your hometown, but Georgia is.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. You know what I'm saying? So, what was that like?
It was different because I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everyone. So, I was really close with all my friends, and just going to Atlanta, being downtown, it's a big city. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like a culture shock just because I wasn't used to, being close to everything or just having that many people around you at one time. But once I got there, man, I really enjoyed it. And I was glad I made the decision to go to Tech because it ended up being a great fit for me.
Yeah, well, that's good. What do you feel like, I know you went in, you're an A-back, you're a running back, right? It took you a little time to actually, become were you a little confused going in as a freshman and not playing the position that you were used to playing?
Well, I already knew I had that feeling going in. Coach Johnson talked to me and my parents when he was recruiting me and let me know, he's like, hey, we have a quarterback now. So for you, if you want to get on the field early, this is the best chance for you to get on the field early. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Right.
And then once things transition, I transitioned to quarterback my sophomore year. So it wasn't long before. Now, I was getting comfortable at the A-back position. You know how it is when you get comfortable.
Yeah.
Like everything seems like it's going on the up and up. And then next thing you know, you're like, and I remember getting the call and going into Coach Johnson's office, and he was like, yeah, we want to move you back to quarterback. And I called my dad. I'm like, dang, I don't want to go back to quarterback. I'm just now getting
comfortable,
used and comfortable to what I'm doing. Like, and I'm looking good. I'm like, Dad, it's like day 2, day 3 of spring ball.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I look good.
Right.
He's like, look, this might be a blessing in disguise. He was like, just go out there, see what it's like again. You ain't played quarterback in a while, but see what it's like. And then I remember the first practice that I was at quarterback, I was like, I'm back. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I really enjoyed being able to make that transition, and then it worked out.
That's all. Now, was there any tension with any of the other guys in there? Obviously, there's other quarterbacks that are being recruited, other people that are there. You're a sophomore, you're coming in, taking the wheels a little bit. By the time you're a junior, you're starting and stuff. Like, what was the tension like? What was that pressure like?
I wouldn't say it was too much pressure on me. For me, it was more about my sophomore year was a learning curve. Like, we had a guy, Justin Thomas, who's one of my good friends. I still talk to him all the time. He was our starter, and then our backup was Matt Jordan. He was a guy that was in front of me. He was a year ahead of me. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really any tension. We were all good friends. We were all close. We all wanted to help each other. We all wanted to win. And I feel like when you're in a good program, like, I don't think there's ever really any jealousy. It may be a little bit, but for the most part, everybody wants to win. We're all there for the same common goal. So they all helped me out a tremendous amount. And
that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling when everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff. So making a transition, obviously you did super, super well over there. You got some great records and stuff. Heck, I remember when I went over there for 7-on-7, I see a big old picture, you're on the side of the damn stadium, when you're coming through the tunnel.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's always cool going back and just being able to see different things or see pictures of myself when I'm there. So it's always pretty cool.
Now, did they give you a key to the school? They give you a key to the field stuff?
I wish.
I mean, you're Qb1. QB1, you gotta have.
I still get access. I mean, I can still get in to the facilities and stuff like that. So I still have a little bit of access. So I guess that's all I can ask for.
So now, being in college and stuff, really, what was the reason why you were in college? What was your dream? What did you want to do once you left college? What was the plan?
Play in the league.
So your plan was moving on, NFL. Tell us about that. Tell us about that journey and what happened there.
So going into my senior year, I had a phenomenal junior year. I mean, I think I was like 3rd in the ACC rushing, 3rd or 4th. Mm-hmm. And like the people in front of me are in the league now, which is A.J. Dillon, who plays running back for the Packers, and Lamar Jackson, who's the quarterback for the for the Ravens.
You know, I will tell you, you had 249 yards in one game, so I know you did something.
So going into my senior year, to me, it was more like I want to stay consistent and like show people that I can do it more than one time. Like I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You know, a lot of people can, you know, have it one year and the next year they just completely fall off. So I wanted to show that I could be consistent and do that. Well, my senior year didn't start off going as planned. I remember the first game, I wanted to be more consistent throwing the ball. And I mean, I probably missed 6 throws straight. And I'm like, oh, this is definitely not how I want to start. But of course, things picked up. We weren't playing a team that was that great. So, you know, when you're doing that, you can kind of ease into it a little bit more. But second game of the season, coming out of halftime, man, I got swiped running up the sideline and we're up. And I thought I broke my foot. Well, it turned out to be turf toe.
Oh.
Now, I had never had turf toe before, but I go to the
God,
sideline.
if anybody's ever out there had it, they know what that's like. It's horrible.
I go to the sideline and I'm limping off and I'm like, man, I really thought I broke my foot.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, you got turf toe. I couldn't get my cleat off. And then once I got it off, I was like, look, man, we got to win the game. Like, how can I get back in? They're like, look, can you put your cleat on? I tried to put my cleat on and it wasn't going, like I couldn't get it over my foot. So they ended up kind of rigging up my toe and taping it a certain way. And they put a metal plate like in my shoe so my toe wouldn't bend.
Oh, yeah.
So I was able to kind of go back in and move around a little bit, but I wasn't able to move the same way that I normally was. So that was the beginning of the injuries. So I had.
Did you win that game though?
We ended up losing. So that made it even worse. So we get back. That's week 2. So we get back and we go on the road again. And we got about 2 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, as I'm in the process of healing up the foot I have turf toe on, which was my right foot at the time. We go to Louisville. I mean, we're beating the brakes off of Louisville. We scored 60 points this night. It's the last drive that I'm going to be in before we bring in the backup. And I'm about 5 yards from the end zone. I get swiped again from behind. I got turf toe on my opposite foot.
And this is after you rushed for 23 times for 175 yards in Louisville. I mean, I have that statistics here in that game. So you still ran for 175 with
turf toe in one foot that was healing up.
Right.
So then by the time the game ends, I got turf toe in my other foot, which happened to be my left one. So now I got turf toe in 2 toes. So now I'm like, dang, man, it's the end of the game. I'm like, I was just getting back to like being able to run good, and now I got to deal with turf toe on my opposite foot. So then we go to the next week and we're playing Duke. And Duke is always pretty good. They always got a really good defense. They had Daniel Jones at the time playing quarterback. And we knew that if we beat Duke, we'd have a chance to play in the ACC championship game, which is what you want when you're in college. You want to play for your conference championship. Well, first play of the game against Duke, not only am I limping on the field to play because I had turf toe in both of my toes, the first play I get tackled from the backside from a guy I don't see, and he puts all his body weight on me, and I feel my collarbone pop. So I'm like, oh, man. So, like, I get up, and I can't really feel my arm. I'm like, I think I just broke my collarbone. So I go off the field, and my trainer's filling up on my collarbone. I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt when you press on it. Like, it only hurts when I do certain things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be good. I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna work it out. Like, I'm gonna be fine.
You're tough. You're like, I got the Iron Ward twice in high school.
So
I got to keep going.
We go back out, and things stopped going our way. I know I ended up fumbling one time when I know I was down, but you know, sometimes if they call it whatever they rule on the field, if there's not enough evidence,
right,
then they keep that. So things started going downhill. I know we got to the fourth quarter, early in the fourth or late in the third, and I was making a run, and I was close to the sideline. And instead of me just being smarter and going out of bounds, I tried to make a move and stiff arm the guy. Well, the guy got up under me, and he lifted me, and it landed on the same collarbone that I did in the beginning of the game. And I couldn't even lift my arm at that point. So that was the beginning of like things not going the way I wanted it to go. So I missed the next the next week we had a bye, and then I missed a game after that. And then after that, I just never was really the same. I still had some good numbers.
Right.
I could have broke 1,000 yards rushing my senior year, but came up a little bit short. I think I had like a little bit over 900.
Yeah, 987. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right there.
So I was close.
Yeah.
But so when we got to the end of the year, we played in our bowl game up in Detroit, Michigan, and we lost to Minnesota, who was a really good team at the time. And after that, I was like, okay, well, this is it. Like, I want to get ready for the draft and see where everything goes.
So let me ask you real quick, talking about injuries and stuff, because obviously you had a choice. When you were hurt and stuff, you made that choice that, hey, man, I want to be on the field and stuff. Do you get any regrets with that?
Sometimes I do.
Do you?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I wish that I maybe had someone else in my ear saying, hey, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should, get that turf toe checked out and possibly get surgery or something like that, just because I feel like it would have saved me in the long run. But like, I never really been hurt before. Like, even in high school, the only thing I had happen was a dislocated thumb, and I missed a game because I had surgery. But other than that, I never really been hurt, and I always wanted to play, and I always wanted to. I felt like my presence on the field was always going to put the team in a good position to win, and that's the same way I felt in college. So I wish sometimes that I would have been like, maybe you need to slow down and relax.
Right. I mean, it's hard today. I mean, think about it. Injuries happen all the time, but nobody knows your body better than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, most of us ain't doctors, you know what I mean, and stuff, and we can only go by how we feel at that point in time. But with adrenaline and with emotions and with a lot of team support and people there, you don't want to let people down. I know myself just playing, I played a lot of games hurt because I didn't want to let somebody else down. I wasn't worried about my body. Yeah. Boy, today does it bother me. I wish I could go back and change a few of those.
Absolutely.
But the reality of it is I probably wouldn't change any of it myself. But somebody like yourself, you got that situation. I mean, you're QB1, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you're the general, you know, you're running everything and everybody's looking for you to lead. And by all means, number one, you certainly did that. And that's why you're here today on our show. And we're happy for that. So,
absolutely.
What is that? We got to take a moment here. We got to thank our sponsors. Number one sponsor, Cost Plus Processing. Cost Plus Processing is a company that helps business owners nationwide eliminate up to 100% of their processing fees. Find out why they are the future of merchant processing. Call 1-855-391-9190. That's 1-855-391-9190. Mention this podcast and receive a bonus offer with this call. All right, so let's get back to our show. Q, so we were talking a little bit about transition. Boom, you're out of college. You want to go pro, man. Obviously you got the athletic ability. You got some injuries that have been, hindering over you. So people probably aren't looking at, it's kind of like when you're going shopping, right? You're looking at the meat, and some meat looks real fresh and some might be a few days old and stuff. Are they kind of frowning on you now because, they're afraid that you're prone to being hurt and stuff?
No, I don't think injury was a thing that anybody was concerned about. I know as soon as I knew I wanted to declare for the draft and take that next step, I knew quarterback wasn't a position I wanted to go with. I knew I wanted to transition back to that receiver role and catching punts and kickoff return, just because I felt like I could utilize my talents a little bit more besides just being a quarterback, because that's what I did in high school. Like, I caught punts, I caught kickoffs, played quarterback, I played DB, so I felt like I could utilize all of those things at the next level. So I decided, you know what, like, I've had my fun run at quarterback, and now I want to transition. So I transitioned receiver, started working on that. But the hardest part about making that transition was that I was still hurt. Like, I was hurt I was hurt going into the bowl game. I was hurt after the bowl game. So, like, even when I took time off, I took like 2 weeks off after the bowl game just to try to give my body some time to rest and heal. Man, I was so beat up going into pro day. It was crazy.
All right. Wow. Well, so talk about that. You go to pro day, you're excited, adrenaline's up. This is your shot, right? And you and I both know there's many people that, they grow up, they want just a shot. Right. And not everybody gets that, so you're very fortunate and blessed, to have earned that. And nobody gave that to you. You had to work for that. Going in there and knowing that, hey, I'm performing and I can't give you my best. What does that feel like?
It's a bad feeling. Because like you have more, but at the same time, you're like, look, this is a job. And like you said, not everyone's fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to be in front of a lot of scouts that know who you are and, be able to showcase your talent. So I just tried to get out there and do the best that I could, which I felt like I had a good pro day. Now, 40-wise, I didn't run the fastest 40 just because of the way my toes were set up and being able to get off the line and trying to recover and heal with that. Now, it's a little bit of an excuse, it is, but I mean, anybody who's had turf toe, they know what it's like to not be able to really get that full extension off of pushing off your foot. But I didn't run the greatest 40, which was okay. I was once I told myself that it was okay, I knew I was hurt. Like, that wasn't what I could run. I felt I was more eased about the situation, but I still did get an opportunity after that. So the 40 is not the end of the world.
Right.
Like, everyone wants you to run, sub 4.4s, and people don't realize, like, when you're running 4.4s, 4.5s, like, that's elite speed.
That's
like,
right.
I don't care who you are.
No matter what you weigh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's elite speed. So I did get an opportunity. My agent called me after the draft was over. He's like, hey, the Baltimore Ravens want to bring you in. He's like, they want to bring you in at running back. I'm like, let's do it. So I go up to Baltimore, and that's when I realized, like, how much the NFL is a business.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of people just see everyone playing on Sundays, and, all the big time guys are, not really getting shuffled around, or if they're getting shuffled around, they're going here, they're going there. But, like, the guys that go undrafted and things like that, like, it's a real deal business, and you don't realize it until you really are in the midst of it all.
Yeah. Big shout out to one of my buddies there, Keaton Mitchell. He's over there at the Ravens right now doing exactly what you just did. He was undrafted, but he's there working out there right now with Lamar, getting handoffs and stuff, and, wish him well as well. His mom played football as well with Atlanta Explosion. Big shout out to them too. The Women's Professional Football League here as well, and I know she's got a national championship and stuff. So, but his daddy also went to Baltimore too. But it is a road. It's a road that you can take. Just because you don't have, like you say, your best showing, and just because you don't have all those stats, and because you are a little bit, you still have an opportunity,
right?
But you I think you hit on the nose there. It's an interview.
It is,
and I don't think people understand that part.
Yeah, that pro day is a job interview. Like, when people watch that combine and, like, the pro days and things like that, that's exactly what it is. You are going into your job interview to apply for that job. Right. And there's only a certain amount of guys that they take every year. So
it's got to be a little frustrating too at some points, or a little bit nervous to say, hey, even if I got the job, do I even want it? There's a lot of pressure here, and stuff. I mean, there are some people that don't ever get to see the field. Let's be honest. There's practice squads, there's practice teams, and they're getting paid. They're on the team and stuff, but it's not it's not the greatest job in the world. Let's just say that. Some people like to refer to themselves as practice dummies. Out there, they're the ones that are out there trying to prevent, injuries to their starters and everything else, but yet they kind of want an opportunity to show out a little bit too as well, but they don't always get that chance.
Yeah.
So very fortunate that you're one of very few that get that opportunity and stuff. So when that didn't work out for you, then what? How did you feel about things, and where was your mindset after all that?
Well, once I realized how much of a business it was, like when I was up in Baltimore, I was like, okay, I see how this kind of works. Like, I know kind of what mindset I need to have going into it. So when I left Baltimore, I get back to Georgia, and I get a call from the Atlanta Falcons. They're like, hey, we want you to come to minicamp. I'm like, let's do it, because I had already been up to the Falcons facility for like a mini pro day as well. And Coach Ra, the Raheem, he was the receivers coach at the time, and I had met him. He was good people. Dan Quinn, the head coach at the time, he recruited my boy out of high school. So, and he also recruited me a little coming out of high school. So we were kind of familiar with each other. So
right.
I was like, oh, Atlanta,
good.
I'm like, this will be good. Like, I get an opportunity here. Like, my family's in Georgia.
Yep.
A lot of my friends are in Georgia. I was like, this will be a good opportunity. So I go to the Falcons, man. I kill it. I have 2 great days of practice, and like, I thought they were going to bring me back in. Like, my agent was like, hey, man, they really liked you. Like, if anything happens, like, they're probably going to give you a call back. So this is in, June. So that happens in June. And then after June goes by, July goes by, we get to August. Football season's rolling in. I'm still working out, still training, just staying ready just in case I get a call. September goes by. October goes by. I'm like, man.
Now
like,
what?
I ain't heard nothing. I'm like, my agent calls me. He's like, hey man, I heard a couple teams might be bringing you in for a workout. You've been working out. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, just let me know where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
November comes by, like nothing. I'm like, okay.
I keep in mind, this is a time period too. Like you weren't getting paid in college. Some of these college kids now are making some dough, aren't they?
No, yeah, they're making good money.
You know, they're
now.
making money. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I was in college now making
I know they had your freaking, your whole picture was on their damn, their wall. You know what I mean? You would have got some of that for that, right?
Absolutely. So at this time, like, no money's coming in. Like, of course, I still have some money put aside from when I was in college, because we were getting like the cost of attendance, but not like what they're getting now. So I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe I just need to take a break, just chill out and get my mind off of football so much. Cause I'm like, I haven't gotten a call in a couple months, or it's been some months. I'm like, maybe I just need to relax. So that's what I did. I just relaxed. I started working with my dad. He owns his own business back at home. Mm-hmm. So when I got to that point, it was January 1. We were going into January 1 of 2020. And me and all my boys went up to Nashville, mm-hmm. and we all told each other, we like, okay, in 2020, like, this is our year, like we're gonna make stuff happen. So January,
always make them resolutions, baby.
So January 1, I'm like, man, I need to get back in playing shape. Like, it's go time. Like, I know there's some opportunities out there. Like, I'm just gonna go get it. Mm-hmm. So get back in playing shape. I'm working out twice a day. I'm eating good, taking care of my body. I think I had got up to I was probably up to that period I took off. I probably got up to 195, which is the heaviest I ever been.
Right.
And I dropped weight so quick, probably in like a month's time, maybe even less than that. I was back down to about 185.
Nice.
Lean, cut up. I still had all my speed.
I ain't gonna lie. I think you could probably play right now.
No, I probably could. Just give me about a month. I'd probably be about a month and a half.
Yeah.
So, at the time, I got rid of my agent. I didn't feel like he was doing everything that, I felt he could do to put me in a position to be successful. Mm-hmm. So I knew another agent. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, like, I'm ready to go. Do you got any opportunities for me, or anything that might come up, anything like that? So he started trying to move some pieces around for me. I had some connections with some other people that got me connected to the CFL. So there was a guy up in the CFL. He's like, look, man, we want you to play arena ball. Like, if you could play arena ball, you can play CFL. It's like, we just want to see, get some more tape on you.
Some looks.
Yeah, because I hadn't played any receiver in college. So everybody's like, man, we want to get more tape on you. Like, we want to see. I'm like, guys, if you look at the tape, you'll see it'll be able to,
right.
Transition. But you know how it is. They want to see the tape and things like that. So, man, I'm getting ready for all this. There's a Canadian tryout that's going to be happening in Georgia. I'm going to go to it. Well, the pandemic happens.
Right.
The pandemic happens in 2020. So I'm like, okay, well, we don't know what's going to happen with football. Like, nobody has any idea. If the NFL doesn't know, then everybody else below them has zero idea.
Right.
So at this point, I'm like, well, okay, this might be my last opportunity. Well, come around, I get closer to the summertime. And the agent that I reached out to, he was like, hey, man, the Spring League is like a mini league where you can go get tape. And, like, you can go out there. You'll be out in Texas for a month. You'll play 4 games, get the tape you need, and then we'll go from there. So I'm like, he was like, you want to do it? I was like, absolutely. Like, I was like, I'll do whatever. I need to get the tape so I can get eyes on me. So this was, I don't know, maybe October.
Okay.
So I go out to Texas for a month, and I go out there and I ball out, punt return, playing slot receiver, just dominating. So I
turf toes, no problem.
I'm good.
Good, healthy.
I'm good all the way around.
Nice.
So
okay.
I get back from there, and I got all the tape, made my highlight tape, and start sending it out. Well, we're still in the pandemic. Like, 2020, like, the pandemic didn't go away from that time. It didn't go away. So, like, people are still kind of hesitant on what they're going to do. The CFL was hesitant at what they were going to do. At this point, I didn't feel like Arena League was going to be the best situation for me. So I kind of just pushed that to the side. I was like, man, like, I got the tape I needed with 11 on 11 football. Like, I don't think I need to, play arena. So I got the tape out, and we're still in the pandemic. So I'm hearing from a couple of teams up in the CFL, And they're like, yeah, man, like as soon as we figure out what we're going to do, like CFL wise, like we're going to reach out to you. We're going to be in touch. Now we're transitioning to 2021.
Yep.
So I'm still working out, still training, working with my dad, just getting a little money in my pocket just to make sure everything is straight. Well, we
still got to pay them bills.
Exactly. Well, we get to about February, and one of my homeboys back at home, he's like, man, Quan, like, he's like, why don't you do a 7-on-7 team? He's like, Cam Newton can do it. Like, if Cam can do it, why can't you do a 7-on-7 team? He's like, nobody back home has a 7-on-7 team.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I don't know if I had the time. I don't know if I can do it. He's like, man, you can do it. He was like, you should do it. He's like, you're one of the big time guys around this area. He was like, it'll be a bunch of people who want to play with you. So I thought about it. I thought on it. And the more I thought on it, I was like, he's actually right. Like,
right. If you can't play, you might as well.
I was like, it's a great idea. Yeah. I'm like, so I started working on that. And that's where my 7-on-7 team comes in.
So, you know what? We're going to transition into that, you know, where you're 7-on-7. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us, you know, the name of the of your 7-on-7 team, too. I know you got your brand on your hat there, baby. Almost. Absolutely. I know people are thinking it's the money team, but what is it, man?
It's people do think that.
Yeah, I know.
It's a TM, so it's TM Elite, and it stands for Taekwon Marshall Elite. So a lot of people, it's for short TME is what we have on our jerseys. And of course I had the hat on, the TM, and I started this logo back when I was right after I got out of college, because they didn't have NIL. So
right.
I had to wait till I was out of college to start my brand and things like that.
Sure. Now, you know, with your 7-on-7, I know you did things a little different because, you know, the way you go after kids and the way that you allow kids to play is a little different than most.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, give us tell us a little bit about that and your team and what makes your team different than most.
So my first year, my main goal was to give kids an opportunity to showcase their talents that they may not be able to showcase on their high school teams because they may not be getting the playing time they want. Or
that's that tape we were just talking about. Exactly. It's kind of funny. You went through that a little bit right towards the end. They're wanting tape on you as a receiver. Yeah. You don't have it. Your court. So you're saying, hey man, give you guys opportunity to have some reels.
Get that exposure and things like that. So at my old high school, we held a tryout, and of course, you know, you pick guys that you feel like, you know, you could groom and coach and, you know, help get them to the next level if they aspire to do those things. So that was my first year. It was crazy. It was a roller coaster. I had a lot of guys with great talent. I had guys from the Phoenix City area, from the Columbus area, from the Harris County area, from the LaGrange and Troop area.
What's the furthest somebody would drive to be on your team?
I had a guy driving 2 hours.
2 hours just to play with you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was.
It's got to make you feel good to know that, hey, I must be doing something right.
Got to be doing something
right. You know what I mean? That somebody's willing to spend 4 hours in a car to come get coached by me.
Absolutely.
Right.
So my first year, that's kind of what we were looking at. And I started late, so I was really behind the 8 ball. I wasn't really familiar with 7-on-7 because it wasn't as prominent when I was coming out of high school. Like, we did 7-on-7 with our high schools and things like that. Now this is a whole new era, a whole new world.
It's huge,
where they have
right? It's huge.
Travel teams.
They got girls doing it now. Yeah. I mean, come on, they got women playing it now. So
it's crazy. So
it is.
Like, I had to learn. I tried to reach out to the right people, get connected with the right people to figure out, okay, what tournaments and what areas do I need to go to get the kids the most exposure. Now, we're still partly in pandemic, so it was a little bit harder to do a lot of things just because a lot of things are still closed, a lot of things are still shut down. But
you're at your team for how many years now?
3
years. So 3 years. So you survived.
Absolutely.
You know, if you survive a pandemic and, you know, you're still putting it on, I know you're still growing. I know you're doing great things. I know there's a lot of less fortunate kids that maybe can't afford, because a lot of these teams cost money. You know,
a lot of money.
Yeah, there's a lot of money because it's not free. Right. You know, you got uniforms, you got travel, you got expenses, you got hotels, you got, you know, wheels and stuff that you got to get them there. You got to feed these kids because some of them don't get food at home,
right? You
know, and stuff. So it is a lot, and you know, you've done a phenomenal job making sure that happens for these kids, man.
I've enjoyed every bit of it, man. It's every year it's gotten better. Like, every single year. I remember my first year, we were playing in tournaments, and it seemed like, I'm like, man, we just can't win. We get to the semifinals, and we'd be playing bad in pool play. But we find a way to get to the semifinals in bracket play, and we just couldn't get over the hump. We just couldn't get over the hump. Well, then we get to the end of the season, and it was the big C1N tournament that Cam has, and everyone comes in. It's probably 30 plus teams in our age group, and we ended up playing his team in the semifinals. Well, in my opinion, we got cheated a little bit. I mean, it was his turn. It was his tournament, so
cheated. Come on, man. Come on.
It was his tournament, so I felt like they were bending the rules a little bit, so his team could win.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I've seen his team go down. I ain't gonna lie. I've been right there.
Sure.
Yeah, I've seen his team go down many times. So
absolutely,
they do have different teams. Obviously,
my second year we got them.
There you go.
But my first year we ended up qualifying for nationals down at IMG Academy. So we go down there and we placed top 10 out of. We placed top 10 out of 29, 30 teams. And it was the best of the best. And it made my first year, like it capped it off. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe we got something going. Well, year 2, it was even better. I grew it to 2 teams. I had a young group and then an older group. My older group lost probably 5 games the whole 7-on-7 season. My young group, I was just grooming them. They were pups. So grooming them, making them come together, helping them develop, things like that. So year 2 was great, and then of course I just finished year 3 recently.
So you know what? Let's talk about the transition into high school. I know that you're the big OC over there for the ALPHARETTA Raiders and stuff. This is what, your second year now over there?
Yeah, I'm going into my 3rd year.
Going into your 3rd year and stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that. What's it like being in high school, level and coaching at that level and stuff?
Well, it's definitely different. I mean, I never saw myself coaching ever. I always thought I was going to go into sports marketing or sports broadcasting. But 7-on-7 kind of brought the coaching part out, but I love it. I mean, it's fun being around the kids and seeing the different personalities and getting to develop kids and seeing the kids that have the same aspirations I had when I was their age, wanted to play, D1 ball, go to college and have their school paid for and all the above. So it's definitely fun. It's different because it's not college. Like there's a big difference between college and high school.
Sure.
The dedication and all those things for it, but I do enjoy it.
So you know what? In high school, one of the things that I know, kind of separates one kid from another is the loyalty, the determination, what they're willing to put into it, right?
Right.
A lot of these kids are playing multiple sports and stuff. How do you feel about that as a coach, and how does it affect a team? I know football, sometimes coaches want you there year round. Baseball, they want their kids year round. Wrestling, they want their kids year round and stuff. Myself, I'm a big fan of having multi-sport athletes because I think it helps a kid develop of who they really are.
Right.
And stuff. But, what are your thoughts there in ALPHARETTA and stuff?
I think playing multiple sports is a good thing. I did it growing up, and I felt like it helped me in all facets of playing football. But I do think that at a certain period of time, you have to figure out which one you like the most and which one you feel like you'll have the most success in. And then you have to dedicate a lot more time towards that sport, because now the way training is, the way kids are developing, like some of these kids are straight demons. Yeah. Like they're 6'6", running 4.5s. I'm like,
it's different. I'm like, what these kids have for just resources.
Yeah, that's
how they can develop and stuff. That's
the perfect word for it.
I mean, that's just in a nutshell. They got so many different ways. I mean, come on, just looking at a TikTok or looking at a video, how to, these kids can get in there and learn how to get a quicker start and a quicker jump. But
yeah, the resources,
but it's just out there.
They're crazy. So I feel like if you really want to be good and if you want to be the top in that sport, then you have to, at a certain point, now I can't determine what that point is for you.
Right.
I feel like you as a person will have to decide, okay, this is the point that I need to make that transition to just focusing more on this sport. I feel like once you do that and you hone in on that particular sport, like things start to go well for you, especially when you want to play at the college level.
So, I think that's well said, but like we said earlier, not every kid can play at that D1 level. Not every kid's gonna, they want to play 3 sports. They want to have fun. You know what I'm saying? There's some kids that just want to have fun. They want to stay in shape. They want to be part of the football team. They want to be part of the wrestling team. They want to be part of the baseball team, basketball team, whatever it may be, but they want to enjoy their high school years. Right. But they don't plan on playing professional. That's not in their goals and stuff. So you have those people, but they're also surrounded by a handful of just, bears. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want. Like they wake up in the morning, they're up at 4 a.m., they're doing their push-ups, they're eating properly, and they're like, hey, I want to play in the NFL, or I want to play, Major League Baseball, or I want to play with the pros.
Right.
They're a little different and stuff. Talk about how when they come together, how the reaction, because in college, everybody's in college, everybody's playing. In pros, everybody's at the pros. They're all, they're all getting a paycheck and stuff. But in high school, it's different. You got to incorporate both with that, which I think is one of the hardest transitions as a coach.
I think that's what makes high school so fun, because you have so many different personalities and so many different people out there. Like, of course, like you said, you have your handful that want to take it to the next level, and then you have your handful that are just out there because their buddies are out there. So I feel like that's what makes it fun. And I think as a coach, you just have to figure out who wants what, and then you have to let them know, okay, well, now that we're all out here for a common goal. So you may not be the best person in this position group or on this team, but something that you're doing every day is going to contribute to your teammates and contribute to the team. That's going to help the team be successful. And you're going to, get the fruits of that labor along with everyone else. And I feel like once you can...
Well, that follows with life, right?
Right.
I mean, they take that no matter where they go, whether they go to college or not.
Right.
Because...
Which is why I feel like football is just a great overall sport, because in baseball, of course, like it takes 9 to win. But when you're up to that plate, it's you and the pitcher. Like it's all you.
Right.
Like when you're that pitcher, it's all you. It's no one else. In football, you can be the quarterback, but you can't do anything without
the other 10.
All 5 offensive linemen.
It takes 11 to do.
The tight end and the runner. You can't do anything without them. So it takes all 11. So I feel like football is just a perfect example of like bringing a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities to one common goal.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, to me, football is the ultimate sport, because not only does it take the 11 on the field to all do the right thing at the right time for the right play, but it also means the coaches have to call the right stuff, and the people in practice that are demonstrating the opposite or the opposing team and the strategies and stuff. It's all got to come together.
Right.
And there's a lot of preparation, right? A lot of time and stuff. So how has that been for you? Like, I know, being a high school coach myself, and also coaching, for many, many years too, from youth all the way to professional level and stuff, it's time consuming.
Yes, it is.
What has that been like with your life? Because if I'm not mistaken, I know we got a little baby on its way, right?
Absolutely.
We got a little baby. We got a little Q coming. Congratulations on that, first of all.
Appreciate that.
But what's it like with the time? How do you manage everything?
Try to get as much sleep as possible, especially during season. I mean, in the off season in high school, it's a little different. I mean, you're not on the road recruiting, things like that, like you do in college. So it's a little bit more laid back. But during season, I mean, the way we do it at ALPHARETTA, I mean, you spend a lot of time at the school, or you spend a lot of time watching tape, studying film.
You got a great leader over there, Coach Curves, man. He coming from a huge background of football.
He does a good job.
Oh, he knows the game. He knows the game inside and out. And you're not going to be out coached. That's the one good thing.
Absolutely not.
So it's nice.
He's taught me a lot that I thought I knew playing.
Yeah.
Like playing and coaching is
two different
things. Like I thought I did a lot as a player, but as a coach, you do 10 times more. And the players don't realize it. Like, just like I was just as naive as they were.
Yep.
When I was in their shoes, and they don't realize like how much time and how much care that the coaches put into the players, not just the ones that are playing and the ones that are the stars, but even the ones who aren't the stars, and maybe even the ones who aren't playing.
Right.
So there's a lot of time that goes into it, but I mean, I just try to get as much sleep as possible. I know right now, I mean, we go at 7 in the morning to about 11, and I probably don't leave there till about 12, depending. Sometimes it could be 1. I probably get up at around 5:55 is when my first alarm gets off. I'm probably up by like 6:05. So
You're hitting it. What's it, talking a little bit about recruiting and stuff. What's it like with recruiting? Like, high school is a little different, obviously, and stuff. So you kind of, you have who shows up in your district and stuff. But a lot of these kids, the handful of kids or the dozen kids that want to go on and move on and play football at another level and stuff, they need some help. and stuff, and they need some help recruiting and stuff. What is that like? And if I'm not mistaken, aren't you ahead of that for Alpharetta as well?
Yeah, I love doing the recruiting piece, and it's very special because it gets to a point when college coaches come and you present those players that can play at that next level. You create that bond and that trust. So that's what it is. It's when that college coach can trust that what you're saying and what you're showing them matches up, it just creates this I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but
Bond.
Besides bond, it was another word I was looking for, but it does create that bond to where those guys are like, okay, now this is someone that we can trust. And that's really what the whole relationship, as far as kids getting recruited and things like that. But I mean, recruiting
what do you tell a kid though who might not have the coaching? A kid that's, fairly good athlete. He's got some really good statistics, but he might not have the connections. What do they do? How do they go about themselves? Because, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to charge people, these kids today, hey, come here and I'll help you get a look, pay me X amount of dollars and stuff. I've always told the kid you shouldn't have to pay anything to be recruited and stuff. Right. But how do you tell a kid, what should they do to make their own little portfolio or to where they can be seen?
I think social media is a big thing now. I mean, I know at Alpharetta, I always tell the kids, I'm like, look, let me know where you're going before you go there, because the last thing I want you to do and your parents to do is I don't want you to go out there and waste your time, and I don't want your parents to go waste their money, because a lot of these camps are money grabs. Like, that's what it is.
Right.
I mean, these colleges are getting money off of it, so that's what it is. It's a money grab. So I think using social media is a big thing now.
Well, and Huddle too, right? I mean, come on, Huddle
is a big thing.
Shoot, I never had Huddle. I mean,
Right.
we had a VHS tape, that we popped in and stuff.
Yeah,
so you couldn't create a highlight reel.
Right. Huddle's a big thing, posting it on Twitter. Even TikTok is a big thing. But now you have these content creators out here now, like Destroying and AJ Green, who have their own 7-on-7 teams, or they go out to high school football games and they're helping kids. Like, all they have to do is post a video of a kid doing something special, and now they're on the map of, these college recruiters. So
right.
It's a lot of different ways now to get seen. Like, it was a lot harder, even though I wasn't in high school that long ago, but back in 2014, 2015, like, it was still pretty hard to get recruited. Now there's so many avenues that you can go through to even just be seen.
So I just want to kind of recap what I'm kind of hearing so that these listeners can understand. If you're a kid out there playing football or any sport at all and you want to be seen, do it all. Do all the networks. Hit it all. Don't limit it to one, but do it all. And you don't need somebody to do it for you. You can do it yourself. You get your own Instagram, you get your own Twitter, you get your own, Facebook and stuff. So, make sure that you do that and reach out to some of these coaches and
Absolutely, because all it takes is one coach to believe. All it takes is one coach to believe in you.
That's it.
As long as you have one coach that will believe in you, that's all that matters. There's plenty of schools out here that play football. It's not just the Power 5 schools. It's not just the D1 schools. Now, everyone wants to go D1, but, not everyone can play D1. And I try to be honest with kids. I don't like to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't try to hurt anyone's feelings. But sometimes you just have to be real with the kid, because you don't want to push them in the wrong direction. You don't want to sell a kid a dream saying, hey,
right,
you're the greatest thing alive, you can play D1 ball, but in all reality, they can't, because it is levels to it.
Right. Well, there's levels. It's not that they can't. It's that they have a lot of work ahead of them.
Exactly.
They have a lot of work ahead of them. And you know what? And that's kind of part of it. But the good thing about it is, utilize your resources, utilize, your coaches, utilize your network. And if you don't have one, start creating one, right? And stuff. Go out to ball games, introduce yourself, go to camps, meet some coaches, get your face out there where you can be seen and stuff.
And everyone knows someone.
That's right. That's right.
Everyone knows someone.
Everyone knows somebody. And dominate. You got to dominate.
Absolutely.
Be willing to dominate. So, a couple last questions, Q, and I don't want to take up any more time, and I really, really appreciate being here. But, tell me, do you like coaching better than playing? Which one do you like more?
Ooh, that's tough. I enjoy playing because you get that, everyone gets that one feeling like when you're getting ready to play, that kind of the butterflies. Now I still kind of get that coaching, but it's just not the same, because coaching, you can't do anything on the field to help impact the game. As a player, you can do things on the field to impact the game. So I feel like that's the biggest difference. But I mean, I would say I probably like being a player more, but I do enjoy the coaching aspect.
The one thing I'm going to say, as you know, from transitioning from a player, and of course I'm a lot older than you, so you know my sand in my time box is going the other direction. But I think by being able to coach, you have an impact on so many more people. Whereas being a player, I can only impact me and my teammates. Now I can impact the whole world, right, and stuff with the knowledge and your experiences and all the things. And hopefully a lot of listeners today are gathering that as well, and stuff. And that's one of the things that I love to do the most. What are you most excited about this year?
Proving a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
That's going to be the most exciting part. It's a lot of teams and a lot of people counting us out. So that's probably the most exciting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My money's always on the ALPHARETTA Raiders, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I know you guys are going to fight to the end, win or lose. You guys are always going to put on a good show, and I know coaches are going to continue to coach right to the end. I know that the players ain't going to quit because they're not allowed to, and I know it's going to be a dogfight in every single game. So
it'll be a good year. It'll be a good year.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. You just met Taekwon Marshall. And you know, I started this show with regular people doing extraordinary things. And you know what? Follow this man, because he's got a lot more to do right here at his social media right here. And keep in mind, don't forget to follow us, Wham Bam's Podcast. That's right. Remember to follow, like, and make a comment. And make sure you turn on those notifications too, so you get all of our new episodes to come. We're only shooting one a week. We're out of here. Peace out. This podcast was brought to you by Cost Plus Processing, the leader of merchant processing. Call 1-855-391-9190 and find out why they are the future of merchant processing.